Finally had some time to get outside and do my video walkthrough here of the yard. Got the GoPro out, just kind of take a little stroll in the hot summer sun, have a look at the yard so far. It definitely is a very young garden, so not an overwhelming amount of growth just yet, but it's coming along. I think as a project it's going to be really successful at some point. One thing I really lament about here is the lack of trees. As you can see, the neighborhood here is pretty young, about 10 years old. So most of the trees were cut down, and if you look off in the distance, you can see some trees further out, and there's also some around the front side of the house here. I'm on the southern side of the house right now, but those trees are a little too far. They're really, not the best trees to perch in for the birds. It's just luckily I have a neighbor next door that managed to keep a few trees in his yard, and that's where the birds mostly like to sit. So I put my first feeder out here on the eastern or southeastern side of the yard. There's an adult male that sits up in this tree that guards this feeder right here. On the east side of the house I have trying to get a wetlands garden growing. Have some Cufea, David Verity. It gets morning sun. Seems to really like that. It's just now beginning to bloom a little more and look a little bit healthier. A lot of new growth down here at the base of the plant, which is really good sign. I have a Spagelia Marylandica, Indian pink, and another one over here. Had some jewel weed growing also in some of these little plots, but it doesn't look like that made it, so I'm going to have to try that one again. On the southern side of the house, had a flame acanthus here. Have a rough encounter with the mowers. They hit that with the trimmer, I think is what it was. So it's just now trying to recuperate with that new growth at the base there. I have a Hummingbird patens. It's a classic down here in the south. Wilts quite a bit in the heat actually, but it's doing well, blooming on and off. My other flame acanthus, it's growing a little slow, but blooming pretty well. Then I have a couple of potted plants here. This one, Chaparosa, is one of my favorite plants, and it's kind of a labor of love actually, because here in the southern climate it doesn't really enjoy all of the rain, so I have to frequently come out here and get it and move it inside. It's kind of, as it gets these longer stems, it kind of flops over a little bit, but it's got some new growth coming up. This plant gets fairly large. It's going to kind of grow as a spillover plant for this pot. I think it'll look really good in that setting. Same thing with just DCI. I don't let it get too much water. Pull it in under the eaves there, but it's starting to get bigger and bloom a little bit too. And I spent a lot of time digging out the grass here in this raised bed. Got one Monarda there that's struggling a little bit. And my other one's doing really good. I'll show you that in just a minute. Salvia Heatwave Blaze, and Hot Lips. I have some very small cardinal flower shoots coming up there. They were actually sold as bare root cuttings. They're just starting to come up. I also have some Indian pink there. That's in the ground in root form. Another Salvia Heatwave Blaze, and then the plants that are really bringing the birds right now is my shrimp plants. I just planted that one yesterday. I have a Turk's cap here in the middle, which is fairly young. And then my other shrimp plant that I planted a few weeks ago. Birds just absolutely love these. And it is really doing well in this spot. Then I have another Monarda here that's protected from much of the sun until later in the afternoon, and it is just now starting to send up the bloom stalks here. Hoping some of this will bloom later in the summer as well. I have a Uruguayan King's Crown in this pot here that I try to keep it protected from the sun if I can, but of course it is a sun-loving plant. It won't bloom as well if you don't keep it in the sun, so I did have to put it here in the corner of the patio so it will get at least a little bit of heat and have a little bit of protection from the rain as well. The one thing I really do like about this yard, in spite of the lack of trees, is just the visibility. You know, you can really see the birds chase each other around. There's a lot of young birds here, so they're doing loop-de-loops and cutbacks, and I can see them at a great distance. I like to sit here in this chair and just watch them go at it. Eventually I'm going to put up a fence all around the property, and then my plan is going to be to install either some more raised beds or just some general beds for some salvias. I'm going to grow some of the larger Salvia Goronatica, Salvia Amistad, maybe some Phyllis Fancy. Some of the larger, more vigorous salvias I think would do really well in this climate. Anyway, that's just a short overview of what I got going on right now. Obviously, work in progress. I have quite a few plants, but they're pretty small, and so I'm trying to get them to succeed out here. I'll probably post a few updates from time to time, just to let everyone see how things are progressing. Thanks for watching.